Hey folks, it's Larry Kichner from the Bait Shanty. Wanted to show you that follow-up video I was promising you about our teeny tiny jigs, and that was the bead rig method of tying them up. Now let's go on over here. We can see one that's rigged up like that. It's got a free-tied tungsten bead hanging down below, and the jig with the line running through the eye so that it can float freely and then hit the bottom and clack, make noise. It keeps line twists down to a minimum. Also allows you to use a heavier line, so you can go up to a 4 or 6 or an 8. You'll still get a straight drop, but the beauty of that is you're going to have that stronger line should you get a largemouth or a smallmouth hitting your bait while you're trying to jig for panfish. So anyways, let's go over the instructions a little bit. Sorry about the hand drawing, but haven't been able to find a big enough dry erase board and get somebody to film for me. So let's go through with a little bit of these drawings that I got. So first we're going to start with the rod here. We're going to take out the line we need to run through the top of the jig, which means we're running through the same side that the hook is on. Then we'll run through the bead and leave us a pretty decent tag end there. Then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to run the line through, now that we're through the jig, we're going to run through the bead and back through the bead so that the line goes through the top of the bead 3 times. Then we're going to take the tag end and wrap around these loops 3 times, start to pull it slightly tight. Make sure you get all of this wet. When you're dealing with ice lines that are that thin, if you pull them tight, you're going to stretch the line, you're going to leave weak points in the line, and you're going to end up with a failure where the bead snaps on you or you lose a fish. You don't want to do that. You always see the old guys, licking them or spitting on them. It actually does have a benefit when you're using mono, fluoral, or the little ice lines. I don't recommend spitting on it or sticking in your mouth because with the chemicals that are going into fishing products, you really don't want to have that kind of exposure. But getting your hand wet or spitting on your hand and then wiping it all over, that'll help to keep it wet. What you're doing is as you're tightening the friction that's creating, it's helping to disperse that heat so you're not melting and stretching out the line. So you see how we got that rigged up as far as that? So we're going to end up pulling her tight. Let me go to the next page. Sorry about that. Okay, so when she's rigged up, I always like trimming it and leaving a little bit extra, about 3/16 of an inch, just in case something shifts. But you're going to have it tight here 3 times. You're going to have the line through. Looks pretty good. She's all set, ready to go. And then if you're going to rig her up, let's say we're going bluegills or crappie, you're going to have, once it's rigged up, you'll see this bead will shift forward slightly at an angle, and you'll get a 15 to a 20 degree angle here hanging down, which is real good. It's a nice hook setup for if you got crappies. Now throwing a wax worm on the end, you're going to find that with our unusual cut of our jigs, because we do hand trim them all, you'll see the waxy will hang almost horizontal, which is right where you want it to go. Remember to squeeze a little bit of that juice into the feathers so that you have that scent on the jig. Should you lose the waxy to a small fish, you'll get a second bite. Now when you're jigging this now, you're going to find that this jig, just like on here, can move up and down on the line. Oh, sorry about that. And that'll be able to click, make a little bit of noise. But that double drop's going to keep your line tight, even with the heavier line. And then we're going to have, like I said, the slight angle, and then, of course, the waxy. Now, if you want to go something a little special, and I know a lot of you, your wheels are already turning, this is a rig that I do when I'm going for walleye or something a little bit bigger. It's using the same kind of concept. I got the red and white drawn up here because that's been one of the good walleye colors, using a black bead. And then instead of tying the bead, I'm tying actually to a treble hook hanging through the bead. I really like this style. And then you could go to a minnow head or another waxy on the bottom. Creates a bigger presentation, a little bit more like a chain bait. Works really good on bigger fish. Plus you get that blood and stuff hanging around. Now for a lot of you people that are going, what's this guy doing? Sitting around the bait shop tying jigs and coloring? And yeah, that's pretty much my day, except for when I'm sorting dead minnows and counting worms. But hope this stuff helps you out, gives you a little bit of an idea how to rig this stuff up. Stuff works, the teeny tiny jigs. So let's get you in here, get you set up, and get you out catching fish, because there's still a lot of season yet to come. Again, it's Larry Kichner from the Bait Shanty. Thanks for tuning in.